Just want to do a quick intro to this video because basically when I was editing it there was a lot of wind noise and I realised I didn't tell you anything about where the car had come from or what I plan to do with it. So basically somebody was going to scrap this car, lots of engine lights coming on and the gearbox was, well, it had issues with it, along with a coolant leak. Every time they were driving it basically had to put coolant in it all the time. So as I say, they were going to scrap it. I basically paid scrap value for it with a view to obviously using it as my car. The Ibiza's getting a bit tired now, so that's up for sale. I won't be doing any more work on that. I think I've done plenty. So the plan was with this one to get it back, have a look at the faults I was aware of. First thing was the water leak, and obviously there was the gearbox issue. Now even when I drove this back I thought this was actually just an automatic gearbox and thought I might be able to just put a filter and a ATF change on it. Turns out it's actually I think they call it sensor drive, and it's basically a manual gearbox, 5-speed. It has an actuator rather than the gear linkage, which is electronic, and a clutch actuator as well. So basically 5-speed manual, but obviously in the car it's automatic changes. You can select manual gears or drive it as an auto. So that's the story so far. The interior is really good and clean. It's a nice spec. It's got aircon, it's got Bluetooth, and it's got a nice feature, the panoramic roof, that I've not seen before. Basically the whole windscreen sort of bends around the top and extends over your head about 10-11 inches, and you can slide the visor on. So it's a really nice car inside and out. Let's see how we get on with the mechanical issues. Okay, we've got a new series of videos today. We've gone from the Seat onto a new project. New project being the C3. So we've got this automatic C3, a bargain of a price. It was actually going to be scrapped. Problems with the gearbox, problems with the engine. So it's just very jumpy in gear and a bit clunky on the gearbox. So we're going to have a first look and see what we can find. There is no obvious problems under the bonnet. Although it is very jumpy, as I say. And let's see if we can see that. Okay, so that connector on the aircon pipe, well, I can see it's corroded, which is probably why the aircon doesn't work. So looking at an aircon pipe, it does lose coolant. It doesn't seem to do it when it's left stood. There is plenty of coolant in there now. Let's go underneath and take a look. So first glance, it's not looking bad under here at all. I can see wet spots. We've got a lot of dampness, wetness around there on the front of the gearbox. We've got some on the sump there, and on the rear engine mount there it doesn't look particularly dry, but no obvious leaks. Under tray is missing, so I'm guessing someone has been in here before. Let's take a closer look at this part and from the top as well. Okay, with the electronic gearbox, I think some of the problems may have been electrical. Both the battery terminals are terrible. Taken off the air filter, so we can get access down behind there. I think that's where a coolant pipe's leaking. And I'm just about to remove the battery so that we can get to the filler plug on the gearbox, as I believe we need to do a fluid change as well. I think that is under the battery tray, so we'll carry on and get the battery out. Okay, I'm getting slowly down to the bottom of the pipe, but it is slow going. I've managed to get the fuel rail off. The intake manifold is really buried in there, and I can't quite see from the top at the moment what's holding it. Don't know how much of this you're going to be able to see, but this is with the fuel rail removed. So I'm just going to see if I can get anything else from the top, or if I've now got to go underneath. You can see one of the bolts where my finger is. I'm trying to, it's right behind this pipe here. So I need to get this out of the way, but it's very tight. Not much access from under the car. I can see some things I can try and start taking off. See if that gets us anywhere. A little bit of progress today, if you can call it that. I'm ultimately trying to get out the inlet manifold so that I can get to the cooling pipe, which runs behind the engine here, which is leaking. I can't see that or get anywhere near it at the moment because the inlet manifold is in the way, but I've no idea how to get this out. Tell me in the comments if you know. It can't go up because obviously the panel's there. Can't come out of this side because there's not enough room in between. The head's in the way there. I presume this is something to do with the variable timing, but I don't want to start messing around with that if I can help it. It looks a bit complicated. I don't want to mess anything up. And there's no room this side. I've bent these aircon pipes out of the way to try and get a bit more room because I've got to change those anyway, but it's not helped, unfortunately. Yeah, it's a weird shape. I wonder if it's splits at all. Maybe that's how it comes out. Let me know if you know.